I think I'm gonna go Niners 24, Eagles 17. And this one was kind of hard for me. I like realistically, my brain is telling me Eagles are probably gonna win. They feel like the better team, the better quarterback right now, but I can't root for the Eagles. So my reasoning for going 24-17 is the Eagles have a great defense, the Niners have a great defense. But I don't think it's going to come down to who can make the better play. Who do you trust to make the better play? Jalen Hurts versus the Niners or Brock Purdy versus the Eagles? I simply just trust Shanahan and Brock Purdy's ability to get it to the skill positions. And I think that's what's going to help them win the game. You get the ball in Kittle's hands, get the ball in CMC's hand, Debo, Ayuk, those guys, and they're going to help you win the game. And they're going to have to. But this is going to be I think it's going to be a tough game for them. What do you think? Your score predictions.
The Eagles versus Niners, I think it's going to be really close. I could see the case for either team. I think it's going to be really low scoring. That being said, I'm going to pick the Eagles over the Niners by a score of, I think it's going to be like 2017 or something, because these are the two defenses, number 1 and number 2 in terms of yards allowed per game.
Yeah.
So you've got two really good defenses going up against each other. Also two good offenses with these are two really extremely likable quarterbacks too. Which is why I'm 100%. Sad that either has to lose. But yeah, I think it's going to be low scoring. You've got the two best defenses in football, basically, or two of the best defenses. My reason for picking the Eagles to win is that the Eagles the whole year playing super great, record-wise, the best team in football or one of the best teams in football the entire time. But there was always the question of looking at their record being like, okay, but who have they played? Who have they beaten? Are they that good? So they get the first round bye, and then they come out and they win by 31 points against the Giants.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's a statement win after everybody's been saying, oh, are they really that good? Are they really that good?
Yeah.
And then they win by 31 points.
Exactly. It was all, are they going to be really good? Is the bye week going to hurt them? No, they were good.
Yeah.
They're fine.
So I think we talk about going against an elite defense like the Niners, who are top 2 in terms of yards allowed per game.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about Jalen Hurts when he goes against elite defenses, all right?
Throw some stats out there.
The Commanders, because I'll just pick one of the teams he's played twice this year.
Yeah.
Played the Commanders twice this year. They're number 4 in passing yards allowed per game, number 3 in yards allowed per game, and number 8 in points allowed per game. So Jalen Hurts struggled against them, right?
Yeah.
No, he didn't though. 111 passing rating, 515 yards, 5 touchdowns, and just 1 interception in those 2 games.
So clearly against the top defenses in the league, Jalen Hurts can cook.
Yeah, so I think you can expect Jalen Hurts to rise to the occasion against a defense like the Niners, and I think he'll get it done. But I think it's going to be a grind, and I think it's going to be a close one.
I totally agree. Even though I'm picking the Niners, it's got to be a close game. It's Nick Sirianni versus Kyle Shanahan, Brock Purdy versus Jalen Hurts, but when I said that out loud, I was like, oh, I just really like one story a lot more.
For each of these games, we're going to each of us pick a player from each team just to keep an eye on that could be a big difference maker or could have a big game.
Okay, so my Eagles player to watch is going to be Fletcher Cox because we all know the Eagles defense is going to be great. The Niners, right? They have that young quarterback. The Eagles going to put pressure on that man all night. They're going to have he's going to have to make some scary throws, and Fletcher Cox is going to make him make those scary throws, make him make throws he's uncomfortable with. Fletcher Cox is going to be great in stopping the run, getting that pressure on Brock Purdy, and if they can do that like they have this season, I think Fletcher Cox can be a big help with that, and they help put a little pressure on Mr. Irrelevant.
Well, in the Niners versus Cowboys game, that was something that you saw more towards the beginning of the game when you saw Micah Parsons get in there a couple of times, is that Brock Purdy got sacked at least 2 times in the first quarter. That it definitely does make it, especially somebody like Brock Purdy, that one of his best skills is being able to go through the progressions and stuff.
And that's even though I love Brock Purdy and love the story, we still have to realize he is still a rookie quarterback. So he's not going to be like Tom Brady there and be able to feel everything and just read everything. If you get pressure on him, he's probably going to make some rookie mistakes. He's going to throw some rookie errors in there, and he's going to have to throw throws that he's not really comfortable with. That's why I'm picking Fletcher Cox.
With the Eagles or any team that's gone against the Brock Purdy-led Niners at this point. What you're hoping for is that at some point he's going to play like a rookie, or at some point he's going to, hopefully he'll play like Mr. Relevant, but really you're just hoping he plays like a rookie.
Yeah, exactly.
And he hasn't really happened yet, but I think putting pressure on him is the best way to try to make that happen.
I think so too.
Your best shot at that happening.
Yeah.
So the player that I'm going to pick, which I've kind of, it's sort of two players actually, Devontae Smith or AJ Brown.
Yeah.
Probably more so AJ Brown, but you can make a case for either of them, because I think the Niners, great defense, one of the best defenses in the league, but their run defense is better than their passing defense. Particularly, they've played 2 playoff games so far. They've given up over 100 yards to the wide receiver one in both of those games. Whether it's Devontae Smith or it's AJ Brown, because even though AJ Brown, I think on the depth chart is listed as the wide receiver one, statistically they're pretty close.
Pretty neck and neck, yeah.
But I think lately the Niners, so far during this playoff run, there's been at least one guy that is just beating them. And so I think whether that's Devontae Smith or AJ Brown, they're both really talented receivers, and I think we can expect at least one of them to have a really big game, and I think Jalen Hurts will get the ball to at least one
for
of them.
For sure. So now you want to go with Niners? What player to watch for the Niners? So my player to watch for the Niners is going to be George Kittle, and kind of the same reason I picked Fletcher Cox for the Eagles is because, like I said, the Eagles have a great defense. They're going to get that pressure on Brock Purdy. And for the last 5 games, or like 5 games before, I think this last one, when Brock Purdy had targeted just George Kittle, his passer rating was perfect. And Brock Purdy's going to need to find that guy that he can trust and kind of rely on in the passing game when the pressure's getting to him. And I just think that if Brock Purdy can get it to Kittle, they can keep and rekindle that connection, they should be good to go. And that's why I think they're going to come out with the victory in the end, if Brock Purdy and Kittle can rekindle that connection and keep it going. Because you always need a guy. Like everyone needs a guy like these young quarterbacks especially that they can rely on in stressful moments and situations like this. And I'm pretty sure the NFC Championship is probably a stressful situation.
Yeah, and it's a good time to go to somebody that
you
has
trust.
Proven himself.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
but it's not like, and it's George Kittle. It's not like he's going to like some, I don't want to say no name, but everyone in the NFL is a great player. It's not like he's going to some like wide receiver 2 or 3. Like Kittle's one of the best tight ends in the league. It's a pretty safe option to rely on him, you know?
Yeah, well, and to your point earlier about like if Fletcher Cox or whoever it is, it puts pressure on him, then that's a good, like maybe he's on a drag or a little check down or whatever.
It's what happened.
We've seen Brock Purdy use checkdowns well.
Yeah, for sure. It's exactly what happened last week against the Cowboys when, I can't remember what play it was, but Brock Purdy's rolling out, the pressure got to him, and he found Kittle down the middle of the field where Kittle almost got his head taken off. But, well, yeah, I think if it starts getting sketchy and Brock starts to get pressure on him, if he can just focus in and if he can find a boy that he trusts and he's played well with, I think they'll be good. I think Brock Purdy will be able to take some of that stress off his shoulders.
Yeah, so I'd say the player for me, for the 49ers, one player that came to mind to watch that I think could have a big game is Christian McCaffrey. Because the Eagles, we talked about, Eagles lead the league in yards allowed per game.
Yeah.
That being said, their pass defense, head and shoulders above their run defense.
Yeah, for sure.
Best pass defense in the league in terms of yardage allowed. Their run defense ranked 17th. So that's a big step down.
Big jump, yeah.
And I think you can... Christian McCaffrey already, came to San Francisco and has just been cooking. He's been used amazingly with, I think, 110 scrimmage yards per game on average. I think you can expect for Christian McCaffrey to be used a lot in this game, going against such a great passing defense. Whether it's little checkdowns to CMC like we've seen sometimes before or handing it off, I think Shanahan knows how to use the weapons that if he's like, okay, we're not getting receivers open down the field, let's find a way to get yards. I think he's so good at getting yards that I think Christian McCaffrey will be incorporated in that a lot. And I think he'll get a lot of volume and I think he'll be really successful.
I think so too. And I'm going to knock on wood because I remember in the beginning of the season when the trade happened for Christian McCaffrey, everyone was like, this will be an amazing trade if he stays healthy. And Christian McCaffrey, that's why I knocked on wood. I don't want to jinx him or anything, but it has been like an amazing move for the Niners. Like he's worked so well in this system and he's become Like I remember, like I know fantasy football isn't real football, but even like before, it's like, oh, should you take Christian McCaffrey number 1? It's like he's always hurt all the time. He's again solidified why he's like one of the best running backs in the league. Like he's so versatile, and I totally agree with you. I think that's what like he's gonna have to be a big part of this game. It'll be great for the Niners. And Brock Purdy, he's probably in the best system ever for a young quarterback. He's got so many weapons he can rely on. Probably the best like left tackle in football, one of the best tight ends, one of the best wide receivers, one of the best running backs. He cheesing back there.
Well, I think that if Brock Purdy does end up playing like a rookie, or like something close to a rookie, then what are you gonna do? If it's me, I'm leaning a little more on Christian McCaffrey, the guy that's a veteran who averages I don't know how many yards per carry, a lot probably, and I think that's what I would do. It's
just like a few weeks ago when Christian McCaffrey, they were like giving him every play. I was like, it's probably smart. If it's not working, just do it, man.
Yeah.
He's right there. Just give it to the man. And if Christian McCaffrey needs a break, you still have Elijah Mitchell. Like it's not
and
running back
Debo,
by committee.
Who's basically
it's not really a running back by committee anymore of CMC, but still you have guys there that can come in if you need. I totally agree
and
with
you never know if like Ayuk is in the backfield some of the time.
Yeah.
Anybody is back there.
Put Kittle back there, see what happens.
Put Kittle at fullback.
Yeah, that's what was see. Oh yeah, use check. Now you want to do our prediction?
Yeah. Is that disrespectful that we didn't?
We skipped over the actual fullback. Put Kittle at fullback.
Put Kittle at fullback, not the best fullback in the NFL.
Yeah. We said no, put him there. So Bengals Chiefs, I got 35-31 Bengals, and really the only reason I would say I'm putting the Bengals ahead. I know that they've beaten the Chiefs 3 times. This will be their 4th time beating Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs if they win this one. But the only reason I think I'm putting them ahead barely is just because Pat's hurt. If Pat was injured, I would have the Chiefs winning 100%. And I still believe that Pat injured and on one leg is probably better than 20 or 25 of the quarterbacks in the league, even on one leg. But I think with Pat being injured, I don't know what's going to happen there. Like I saw videos of him jogging, stuff from the practice field today. He might be good, but still a high ankle sprain is hard to come back from. So we'll see what happens. I'm taking the Bengals 35-31.
Yeah, this one I went back and forth on, just like you said, because of the Mahomes injury. If he wasn't injured, I think I would feel better about my decision. But I'm going to take the Chiefs anyways. I'm going to take Chiefs. I think it's going to be close, relatively high scoring, like 31-28 is what I'm going with. Mm-hmm. My rationale for that is, one, the Bengals ranked 24 in passing yards allowed per game. Mm-hmm. And who are they going against? The guy with literally more passing yards this season than anybody else. So I think he might, even with a bad foot, I think he might find a way to exploit that at least a little bit when you've got the most prolific passer in the league going against a less than decent passing defense. I think that's a recipe for, I think maybe we see some Eli Apple burnt toast memes and he starts getting humbled again after his recent tirade on Twitter. He might regret a couple of things he's been tweeting. Yeah. But I think even if he doesn't, even if Pat Mahomes isn't playing at 100%, which I think he won't be playing on 100%, maybe what I would do is depend a little bit on the guy that averaged 7.9 yards per carry in the last playoff game, Isaiah Pacheco. Yeah. Because I think that's probably not a bad bet if you have to rely on the run game a little more when Isaiah Pacheco is. Yeah. He's been booming lately.
I think it's so wild to me that Patrick Mahomes, like just the player that he is, like the best quarterback in the league, even with a high ankle sprain, which is a massive injury and that held Saquon back for 2 or 3 weeks last year, we're still like, oh, he probably could win this game for them. You know what I'm saying? Like he's got this massive injury. He came back in the game. He won the game for them. And then he's coming to this one versus the Bengals, a big rivalry. They're chirping at each other on Twitter. They're calling it Burrowhead, which is insane to me. Like it's also like, I think what I find funny is how fast us as fans and stuff turn on certain players. Like I remember being like, oh, Josh Allen's the best player in the league. And now people are like, oh, Burrow is better. I'm like, that happened really fast. Like stuff like that happens so fast. I think Josh Allen is kind of tired of hearing that. And if Josh comes here, or not Josh, sorry. If Pat goes there with his hurt leg and wins, there's not going to have to be, there's no more chirping I think that can happen. Because I think Pat's tired of all this nonsense. And he's the only quarterback also that, like I said, he could come and hurt and we could be like, yeah, he's got it. Like he's still good.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is that it's his back foot that's hurt. So when you think about it, you're like, okay, maybe he's not going to be able to sling it deep as much because, that's your back foot that you're kind of
you're planting
when you really want to launch it. But then if you watch Pat play, he's so athletic that half the time the man's like, he's mid-run, coming off just the left foot or off his just because for a player that's like, if you're planting your feet and slinging it deep, then that is going to impact you. But he finds so many ways that, like, I mean, that picture from the Super Bowl where he's literally completely horizontal in the air throwing it. Or he's really good at finding ways to throw it.
Even the one versus the Jags where he's like standing horizontal and he kind of his little sidearm. I'm like, I forget, this dude's just insane.
So I think I think it is going to impact him quite a decent amount. I think we're not going to see as much deep stuff potentially, but I think my guy for the Chiefs to watch is going to be Isaiah Pacheco, just because Pat's hurt. I think that Pacheco's been so good lately. Like, his speed and his explosiveness is so insane. And if Pat really is hurt, they're probably gonna have to hand the ball off a little more than usual. And Pacheco definitely can carry that load. And it's a little wild to me that Clyde Edwards-Helaire has like taken that step back. I don't know. I can't remember if it's from injury or just, I don't know why. But Pacheco's really stepped up and be able to provide that solid run game that the Chiefs will need this week. Like I said in the last game, averaged 7.9 yards per carry, which you can be like, oh, small sample size. In the last 5 games, averaged 5.8 yards per carry. So that's still, you give it to him twice, you have a first down.
100%.
So I think that's, especially even if Pat wasn't hurt, I think he has a big game. But particularly with Pat hurt, I think I
think so too.
I think we'll see a lot of him.
Is that who your Chiefs player to watch is too?
Well, my player to watch would either be Pacheco or Travis Kelce, because I think in situations where, particularly if Pat is hurt, then maybe he's not slinging it deep. I think he'll always find ways to find Travis Kelce.
Yeah, exactly.
Last week, Travis Kelce was targeted 17 times with 14 receptions. So the guy gets used. Yeah. Especially in the playoffs when you need someone to depend on. It's personally, if my choices of who I'm going to depend on are Juju and Travis Kelce, I'm throwing it to Kelce. I think we're going to see a lot of short passes to Travis Kelce maybe, but I'd keep an eye on him.
I mean, I totally agree with it. It's just like when I picked Brock Purdy and Kittle, like these quarterbacks in like if there's either pressure or like if they're injured, like with Pat, they're going to find their tight end. They're going to find their main guy. And Pat and Kelce, more than anybody, they've been boys forever. And like they've developed such a great connection. I can pretty much guarantee that they'll have a solid connection and be able to rely on each other.
It's interesting the way the NFL has gone, because it seems like it used to be your tight end was, if you need a tight end that can block, and if you can pass catch and get used in the offense a lot, then that's a cherry on top. But for a lot of offenses like the Niners and especially the Chiefs, it's like that tight end is bread and butter of the offense as much as anything. It's Travis Kelce's.
Like Darren Waller last year, right? Like he was such a big part of the Raiders offense. Like if you have these great tight ends, like they become more than just like a single weapon like they used to be. Like now that they're great in the blocking game, they're great in the passing game. Before you had to kind of pick and choose, right? Do you want speed and be able to catch the ball? Do you want to be able to block? Stuff like that. Now these tight ends are so freaking good at football, they can do whatever you want.
My player to watch for the Bengals would be, which is sort of, for the other three, I didn't pick a quarterback. So I feel like I should be able to pick a quarterback for at least one of them. Exactly. Is that mine's going to be Joe Burrow. Because this will be the fourth time that Joe Burrow has played against the Chiefs. Yep. It's turned into somewhat of a rivalry of him versus Pat Mahomes. Joe Burrow against the Chiefs in the 3 times he's played them has put up a 121 passer rating, 982 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 1 pick. Okay, so if there's a team that... so Joe Burrow doesn't look at Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs and thinks like, oh man, this, like, I can't do this. Like, he's up for the challenge. Every time that he's gone against the Chiefs, he has risen to the occasion and has played well. I think whether they win or lose, I think we can expect the same from him. I think he's going to have a good game. Yeah. I think he's going to go out, pass for a lot of yards, and I think he's going to find Jamar, find his boys, and I think he's going to have a really good game.
I totally agree. And you pick Joe Burrow, I'll pick his best friend, Jamar Chase. Because Jamar Chase in his 2 games versus the Chiefs, 18 catches, 363 yards, 3 touchdowns on just 2 games in the Chiefs. And I totally agree. Like, they're able to make it happen. And when I look at the Chiefs defense, I'm like, what corner is supposed to guard Jamar? Like I can't see it. They haven't been able to guard him the last 2 times they played when Jamar's been on the team. So I totally agree. That Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase connection is going to be deadly this week.
Well, that's part of why even everybody focuses on Jamar because, one of the best receivers in the league. Argument to be made, he could be the best receiver. But even so, like you talk about what corner is going to lock him up.
Yeah.
All right, let's put 2 guys on him with T. Higgins and
exactly.
they have
they have guys.
They have a good offense outside of just Jamar. So it really. You can't just put your entire defense on Jamar.
And then like the Chiefs defense has gotten better over the years. They used to be like awful, but now like people forget they still have Joe Mixon like at the running back position. Like so now you got to guard Jamar, and now we got to guard T. Higgins. Oh, now Joe Mixon has less guys in the box, and he's just going to run it all over you. Which I mean would be a light day if you don't have to even throw it that much against the Chiefs. Just hand it off, and you can keep pounding the rock. But I think they're both these games are going to be great. And I'm really excited to watch these. A lot more excited than I was about even a quarter through the Giants-Eagles game.
Even though I feel like it's better for our views if I say no, this will happen. This will happen. Yeah. I feel like I could flip a coin and be very easily convinced in both these games.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they're both going to be really close, really great.
But this hasn't been like years past where I'm like, why is this? How'd this team stick along and get in here? It's like these 4 teams are pretty much like the best, like some of the best, like the best teams in the NFL. So both these games can be so fun to watch. It's a good year to be an NFL fan.